Coming up on the program, we've got a couple of Canadian broadcasting legends standing by. Rod Black, Ken Shaw. We're doing a Masters preview. Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show coming up.
And welcome to the program. We are bringing back two of everybody's all-time favorite guests. Let me introduce them to you. First of all, we have a native of Winnipeg who has hosted 4 Olympics for CTV over a 37-year broadcasting career, hosted Raptors and on the Raptors and the NBA, former CFL play-by-play voice, TSN golf announcer, host of international hockey. He also called curling and, of course, was a voice of figure skating in Canada for many years. He is now the brand ambassador for North Star Bets. Rod Black in the house. And a native of Ottawa. Started as a reporter at CFTO back in 1979. He quickly moved to the anchor desk, anchor of Toronto's most watched news in parts of 6 decades. Named Canada's best news anchor at the Canadian Screen Awards. Honorary chief of the Toronto Police Service. Past director of Variety Village. Chair of the Ability Center and numerous other charities, a member of the Order of Ontario, and a hell of a golfer. Ladies and gentlemen,
biggest
welcome
sandbagger ever. Did you not put that on there? Biggest sandbagger ever. The best 36 handicap I ever met. Shoots 76 every time. Love Ken Shaw.
The only reason you lost that day was because you were on the phone the whole time doing interviews about your son Tyler.
Yeah, no kidding. Right?
Oh,
that was fun.
Listen to Ken Shaw. There he goes. Oh, yeah, guys, I can't get there in 2. Oh, wait, I got there in 1. Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. Before we get started, Joe, since Rod is, awake at this time of day and ready to go, let's ask him about Tyler. Because he went out to Arizona. How's he doing?
I think you're breaking up a little bit. He's doing great. Yeah, he's down in Arizona with the Brewers. Got a chance to get in a game, big league game. It was a thrill for him, obviously. And, it's a grind. You start as a minor league player. I played a little bit with Carolina last year with the Mudcats, but he's getting some reps. I love it as a dad, and I know my wife Nancy loves it as a mom when we get to go down to Arizona because, we get to see the kid play baseball. But, guys, you know what Arizona is about. Golf. And I got to tell you something. I'm a Florida guy, Kenny. I know you're in Florida. I love Florida golf courses, but I will tell you, I am in love with Arizona golf. There is so much golf there. It is crazy how many great golf courses you could play. So it was good to get down there and watch him play and of course swing the sticks.
Yeah, I've been down
the golf
to
is pretty inexpensive there too. Yeah.
I've been down to Arizona 5 times playing golf, but still the highlight would be watching Tyler. You got to see him in action. He's an infielder, right?
Yeah. It's really cool.
And he's got he's not a long ball hitter per se, but he's got a great average history.
Yeah. He's got power too. He's got a little pop. So it is neat though when you see, like we've talked before. I talked to you guys the hours after the draft. And a lot of party going on back there. I think it was a pandemic ago that I talked to you. But it was thrilling then, and then I would tell you as a parent, it's more thrilling. But it's work. It is work. I mean, it's thrilling as it is. You go there, and these guys grind it out. Wherever it is in Florida or in Arizona. Professional baseball players, you guys go to spring training and you think, we go as fans and we go and watch. And then, we kind of put the Coppertone on and, have a few beers and a hot dog. These guys work and they work. They're up at 6. They work all day. They're done at 3. They have I even asked them, do you get to golf? No, Dad, I'm working. And so it is kind of cool. It's still a couple of years really from, a get a chance to get to the big leagues. But, he's on a good path and he's with some good people. And I will tell you another thing, even though I'm a Blue Jay guy and an Expo guy in my heart, I have become a big Milwaukee Brewers fan. They are a phenomenal organization and they treat everybody like family. And I love their colors because I'm Ukrainian. And that blue and gold resonates right now for all of us.
Yeah, good for you.
Well,
good
I know that he drafted as a second baseman, but from what I understand, he's getting a look at third as well. Is that the case, right?
I think honestly, he played third yesterday for the Brewers against the Giants, and he played well there. And again, I'm just a dad. I mean, as a sports guy, as an observer, I would like to see him there just because I think he's got a great arm. But at the same time, I do think that we, wherever he plays, I think any player switches positions. I go back to the Blue Jays. This is many years ago when they had this prized outfielder, and he was a hell of an outfielder who became Dave Stieb. He changed positions, but I think you're right, Joe. I think he could profile as a third baseman.
Well, that's pretty awesome. And, watching him getting the spring training game for the Brewers, that's pretty exciting stuff. Can you catch the feed at home?
Yeah, so that's the good thing. So it's crazy. We were there for a week, and, you kind of wait. And they don't tell you if you're playing in a big league game or not with the big team because you're playing the minor. The minor league teams play. There's 4 of them. They play every day as well as the big league team. And it's kind of funky. You kind of have to find where they're going and, they're playing maybe in Goodyear or somebody's playing in Maryvale or in Tempe or Mesa. So you have to travel around. And then the big league club doesn't tell you as a minor league player until really the late night before or early morning. They just kind of tell you you're playing with the big league club. So we had left, unfortunately. So we had to watch it on television last night. So it was pretty exciting to, to see your kid. I'm a baseball sports announcer. And then, all of a sudden, and here's the other one. I used to do minor league games, spring training games for the Blue Jays. And now I know how the parents of those players felt when Pat Tabler or Joe Carter or whoever was in the booth with me. We just, once the big leaguers were out, we kind of had fun in our broadcast, did a lot of interviews and things like that. Well, because the minor league guys are on. Now I don't want to hear that. I want to hear about my stop interviewing that star. I want you know what? It's all good. It's kind of cool. Good for him.
Well, Rob, since the last time we talked to you, you've had a bit of a career change. First of all, are you happy with how it all went down? Are you okay with how it all went down? And the second part of the question is tell us about North Star Bet, because this is a new thing you're involved in.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a full time, and I think the word was retired, never retired.
Yeah.
I got I am 85, but it's pretty good.
Well.
So it's like no, it is what it is. I mean, I got a part-time Uber driving gig. I'm also a cat on weekends. And Joe, I will be down in Mexico soon to pack your bags. That's how it works. But this is a real cool endeavor and fascinating direction. We've known how sports gaming has become prolific throughout North America, throughout the world, and I'm excited to be part of the Toronto Star family, the North Star family. I get a chance to do some writing for the Star. I'll get a chance to do some feature work. I've done some stuff already, which I love. I love sports, quite obviously. And then to help out with North Star. Trust me, as you could tell by my picks, I'm not the best inside gambling guy because I do go on long shots a lot. But I'm there for sports content, and we're there to help with features and to help people determine the directions they want to go. I'm excited about it. It's again, I know I'm going to be doing other events and games and broadcasting again, other games with other entities, some south of the border. But this is a real cool thing to be part of. And I guess I'm kind of like the Fred Van Vliet. He bet on himself, and now I'm betting on myself with North Star Bets. So I'm really looking forward to it.
The undrafted superstar. Kenny, how are you enjoying the retired life? You're in Florida. Life is pretty good.
Yeah, life is great down here. I mean, the COVID numbers are less than ours in Ontario. The temperatures are more than ours in Ontario. It's a good combination. Hey, let's go back to the fact that Roddy's involved with gaming now. And Joey, I know you want to talk about Phil Mickelson, and there is the man who was known for his gambling until he did that stumble on the Super Golf League backed by the Saudis. What's your take on that, guys?
Well, you know what? First of all, I think Phil's an idiot. I mean, he lost his mind there, and I like what Rory
He had a Will Smith
Phil,
moment.
Right? Yes. No, I was going to say nobody's going to slap me. Are they today? Everybody going to slap me today?
No.
You're on the street.
I've already been slapped by the server here at Starbucks, but Rory says, here's what Rory had to say about Phil. He was naive, selfish, ignorant, egotistical. I think that pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah. You know what else? There is volume spoken in silence. Nobody came to Phil's defense on this thing. There were no major players, who said, yeah, this is a good idea, and Phil's been misunderstood or anything along those lines, or I back anything that Phil had to say. At best, they were quiet. Some guys like John Rahm saying, he's my friend. I don't want to say anything bad about him. I don't think he lost his mind suddenly. The guy's been like this his entire career. There's a reason why Sports Illustrated years ago said he was the most hated man in the locker room. There's a reason why. Yeah, fig jam. That's it. Exactly. He's got an ego, the size of Arizona. And by the way, now he's talking about moving to Florida. But I mean, he has made his career with the golf club, and he has fallen down every time with his mouth.
Yeah. You know what's funny, guys, is that I have always heard the criticism, and being in the booth for a long time, I've had a chance to interview Phil Mickelson several times and see him in action. He is tremendous in terms of being that good guy persona with the public. He always, I can tell you, I've watched him sign autographs for hours and hours and hours. Do I think that some of it has been disingenuous? Yes, I do. At the same time, I think he's kind of struggled, and I know and I agree with you, Ken. I don't think he lost his mind. This has been coming for a while. I do think he's gotten some terrible advice of late, because whatever happened with this Saudi league, he never should have been there in the first place. It's kind of like Will Smith never should have walked up on that stage in the first place.
Yeah.
But he did. And for a guy who, I think the last time we all talked about how his personality had changed and how Phil Mickelson was becoming this likable guy with what he's doing on social media. And he's always kind of been the anti-Tiger Woods for many reasons. Yep. Who would have ever thought, guys, that Tiger, who became sort of this tragic character in his life, would now be the most loved guy, take on the personality of what Phil Mickelson became and the legions of fans who loved him, and that Phil suddenly would go the other way. It goes to show you, in the blink of an eye, one statement, words, whatever, they come back to haunt you. And had he not talked to Phil Mickelson and talked about that book, and that had not come out, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. The fact that he has to not play in the Masters, and by the way, I think people are saying it's his decision. Read between the lines a little bit. Perhaps it was not. He might have been nudged not to play in the Masters. This guy is the Masters over the last decade of what he's been. Everybody roots for him. But suddenly, my goodness, he has absolutely taken a turn. And no PR agency can help you with that right now. The only person who can help Phil Mickelson right now is Phil Mickelson.
Mickelson has to.
He's got a lot of backtracking to do.
Yeah. He has to remain quiet. And by the way, Roddy, I don't think you need to read between lines. I think it's pretty clear that the folks at Augusta National, they pulled him from it. There's no question that they said, Phil, let's take a pass this year. Next year, let's see where we are, and we'll make a decision at that time. I don't think there's any question that he was disinvited. And at the same time, hey, look, Tiger's invited. I don't know. I don't know that he's going to play. I really don't expect him to play.
I think he'll play. I think he'll play. I think he'll play. I really do think he'll play.
Well, they were talking about
insight there.
He took a private jet. He went to Augusta. He was hitting 300-yard drives. I know it's a father and son thing. Again, would I bet my house on it? No, I bet maybe my shed. But I think he'll play. I think it's. But
you're known for taking long shots. I don't think he's going to play. He might take part in the par 3 challenge, but I think that's about it. And I'll tell you what, I think it's the walk that would do him in. And it doesn't show up as much on television, but Augusta National is a course that's got huge elevation changes. It's a very long course, and the walking is what he says really hurts right now. I don't think he's up to it physically.
Yeah, I just think even if he doesn't make the cut, which would irk him, and if he got the okay from the doctor, I just think he says, why not? And maybe it goes back to this new Tiger Woods we're seeing, this softer, kinder, gentler, more humble Tiger Woods kind of realizes also, that empire that exists behind him, the commercial side in golf, in sports, also exists. Can you imagine, again, if he decides that, yes, he will play, guess how many people are going to be watching that first round of the Masters?
Oh, my God.
I mean, Tiger Woods moves needles. Like you guys watched the match play. This weekend was great. And I was texting with a buddy of mine, and he asked me about, Tiger and what the difference in ratings would be if Tiger was in that Final Four. Well, times it by 10. Add a 0. Add 2 zeros.
But Tiger. But that's not Tiger making the decision to go. That's fans saying we'd really like him there. That's CBS saying we'd really like him there. Despite all the pressure, you know how much of a competitor he is. How many guys have you interviewed over the years who were tops in their sport, who ever wanted to be seen at anything less than their best level? I mean, there's a reason why the top guys go out at the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know what?
I do think, look, I honestly think he is getting better. There's been these little subtle hints. A week ago, I would have said, no way he's not playing. But the more and more I'm looking at it, and plus the fact that he has access to the greatest doctors, and that's not that that's going to heal him up any quicker. But the fact that he can swing a golf club. Hey, guys, remember, Tiger Woods has won tournaments on one leg in the past, and he was probably in worse shape. So I'm not discounting him. And I'll tell you one, if he goes in, I know we're going to get to our picks. If he gets in the field, to me, he's like an absolute long shot, but he knows that golf course and knows those greens. And it's a putting contest in Augusta. And
absolutely,
he's the best putter at Augusta. So, again, if he gets there, it would be absolutely incredible. By the way, do you notice I'm wearing my little Masters hat there, guys?
Very good.
Very nice. 2007, who won 2007? 4 years after Mike, 2 years before Tiger hit a fire hydrant.
2007, Ben Crenshaw. Who won? Did you win?
First name rhymes with black.
Oh, Mike? Oh. First name rhymes
Zach
with black.
Johnson.
Oh,
Zach. Yeah. That was a one-off.
Well, look at Danny Willett, too. Like, look at some of there have been some one-offs. They're never used. Hey, Kenny, Joe, when we were growing up, one-offs did not win the Masters. And now we're starting to see that, We're starting to see guys who all of a sudden, bang, catch a flyer
and
win.
And to your point about the Masters being a putting contest, there was Zach Johnson, who's not a long ball hitter, who was doing all the par fives in regulation getting to the green, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, again,
so this year,
the year Mike won. The year Mike won, but the course was wet. What won Mike Weir? His putter and his wedge won him the Masters. You know, wedged in so many places. Like if you catch the right week of weather and all of those other things. I mean, even look at last year at Hideki Matsuyama, the way that he won. And Matsuyama was one of the best in the world. But look at the way. Again, just grinding, and then all of a sudden goes crazy. Actually, remember the rain delay? And then came out of the rain delay after looking at his phone for, I don't know if he was watching TikTok or maybe some old reruns of Ken Shaw, great broadcasts. Came back and hit it lights out.
Yeah, and he's sticking it, right? That's what you got to do on that course.
Yeah. So when you look at your picks for this year, you're not looking at long ball hitters per se, even though it is such a lengthy course. You're looking at the short game, right? In my case, it's all the short game, off the tee and all the rest of the stuff. So when you guys look at your picks, what were you looking at? Were you looking at long ball hitters or were you looking at short game?
I always go with hot golfers, and you know, and you know what? To me, it's a feel thing. Like, who do I think is due? Or like, for example, we're going to get to the picks in a bit, but I threw Rory in there only because it's Rory, and I just have a feeling that he's kind of due for a good tournament, like a really good tournament. But you know, I just want to touch back on Tiger for just a second. I mean, this would be the first time in 28 years, by the way, that Phil's not in the field. But Tiger has not pulled himself in the field, which I think is interesting. And if you watch his Hall of Fame speech, induction speech, I don't know if you guys did or not, but his daughter Sam did the induction, and then Tiger spoke, and it was phenomenal. I do feel like, as you touched on that, Ken, he's a changed man. He just seems like a different guy, and I really like the Tiger that we're seeing now. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's in the field. And I think it's going to come down to, can he physically do it? And if he can physically do it, he's going to get it done. But if you want to talk about who's hot right now, we want to talk a little bit about Scotty Scheffler, which is, the kid is unbelievable. He's just rocketed to the top of the world rankings in no time flat. Probably as fast or almost as fast as Tiger did, right? Sizzling hot. He's won 3 times in 5 weeks. The Rookie of the Year 2020, coming off that amazing performance at the Dell Match Play Championship, where he was just absolutely unflappable. You know, and then he won a couple of tournaments where nobody else was shooting, nobody else was playing golf, but he was, right? I mean, his scores were astronomical in really, really tough conditions. You get tough fields. You know, when you hold out in the bunker on 12 against Kevin Kistner in the final round, you know what? He makes that mistake, flubs it into the bunker, and then he recovers by holding it from the bunker. To me, it's like, you know, what to say about a guy like that? You have to be impressed by this kid. I mean, probably the hottest thing we've seen since Tiger came around, right?
Yeah, there's no down talking Scotty Scheffler. Though I always figure with PGA level, at least, all these guys are good. What tips the scales oftentimes is luck. So that bunker shot on 12 coming out of the bunker, they'll put it close. Luck makes it go in or not, and it's just like any game, just like cards. Luck plays a big role in it. Scotty Scheffler, by the way, your graphic still had him at number 5. That's how quickly he rose up the ranks, which is unusual.
Yeah. Okay.
I like the world golf ranking system, and it's often way out of date. But yeah, Scotty Scheffler is never going to be a bad pick. You pick a guy who's ranked number 1 in the world. Okay, nobody's going to argue with that.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. I don't know what this number is. I think it might have only been Dustin Johnson. Tiger, obviously.
Well,
there you go. World number one.
The number ones in the world who have won the Masters, I would say, is probably a short list beyond the Tiger wins. Tiger, obviously, number one at the time, except in 2019, clearly wasn't. I do think Masters is horses are for courses, and yes, luck plays, but I'm a big believer that good swings beat good breaks. And I also look at that Augusta, and having been there and never getting a chance to play, clearly, because they don't want me to ruin the course. But I do know that ball striking, everything, you have to have the whole game. But I do think that you can look at Bubba Watson one. Bubba Watson was hitting it everywhere in sight, and it was a long ball hitter. It depended on the weather, and he was just gouging up wedges from very close. Could Bryson DeChambeau do that? Maybe. I'm looking at the forecast. I was listening to you guys clearly, but I was looking at the forecast, and I don't know. Maybe we should call Dave Duvall and try to get all of the right now. But if you look at the forecast that week, there is some rain for Thursday, Friday. Again, who knows? We're almost 2 weeks out, right? Or a week and a half. I'm looking at the temperature is like 25. It's perfect. And if it's perfect, that means, that greens could get baked a little bit. Fairways could get baked, could really favor long ball hitters in a major way. But I do think the guys who are in form and know that golf course win. Now, again, have there been outliers? Sure. Look at Willett. I would even say Matsuyama going in was not in the best of form going into that tournament. But you catch, Kenny, I know what you're saying about breaks. I think you catch, if you can just kind of meander, make your way into the weekend, and then have a real flyer on. And I don't mean a flyer on the rough. I mean get something going on Saturday. That's how you win this tournament. Just don't shoot your brains out, right? Do not shoot your brains out. Do not make the cut. Stay within 4 or 5. But it all depends on how Augusta plays. And hey, you can go through all the picks that we ever had in our history of the Masters beyond Tiger when he was in prime. And I can tell you that very few people pick this tournament correctly because it's such a crapshoot on the weekend. And it's the best of the best.
As I recall, one of the three of us had 3 of his picks in the top 5 last year. But enough about me. Let's talk about ball striking. About ball striking because
son of a
one of the best ball strikers out there happens to be a guy who we're all hoping for, even though we may consider him to be a long shot. And that's Corey Connors. And look at how well he did in the Dell match play as well. This guy off the tee is about as dependable as you could count on. Forget about that world rank number 32. Rod, I think you're right. If he gets hot, he is a guy we would all love to see him.
He has the best swing on the tour next to Dustin Johnson. The best swing. There is no doubt. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And by the way, in his honor, I am wearing a Levelwear shirt that he has worn on tour. He's one of the sponsors. This happens to be Levelwear. Yeah, I really like Corey. I mean, we've all got to have him as a long shot in there. Joe, who did you pick as your number 2 and 3?
Well, I of course we have to have John Rahm in there. I mean, the world number 2 now because he was ranked number 1. He still is the odds-on favorite at 9-1.
Wait a second. There's our picks. I don't even know who's picking who here. Okay. Oh, let's see. Kenny.
So here's the deal. Okay. Yeah.
There.
So Rod,
Kenny's smart. We did 4. That's good.
I asked you guys for 3 picks. Rod gave me 4. So we added Scotty Scheffler to Ken's and mine because if Rod's going to take 4, we got to have 4 too. But here's my the reason why I went with Lee Westwood as my long shot is because the guy, he's been like in the top 10 at Augusta 10 times. He's been a runner-up twice. It might just be his time. And, he's done well since, his wife started caddying for him. He's doing pretty well. And I thought I'd throw him in there as my long shot. And then, of course, my longest shot Mac Hughes. Why not Mac Hughes? I golfed with Mac way back when. And, I love the kid and just like to see him do well. So that's kind of my betting with my heart there. Explain your picks, Rod.
Well, here's my picks. My picks are based on broadcasts. So I think the best broadcast possible would have Scotty Scheffler and Xander Schauffele in the final group. Scheffler versus Schauffele. And how many times Jim Nance is going to be able to get that out. Okay. Jordan Spieth to me is the Cinderella story coming back because of what happened to him in the collapse. And by the way, I put him at number 1 in my picks because I think that Jordan Spieth can win the Masters again. And I do think that he's finally got the muscle memory, that carnage, that dead skin out of his brain from what happened at Augusta a few years ago, and he can win. And he's been there before. And if he gets to 12 again, I don't see him putting in the water. Corey Connors, because Canadian ratings would go through the roof, and it would make me look so good if Corey Connors won.
Yeah.
The only thing about Corey is that he has that stuff still lingering in his headspace. Yes, he's won, but I do find that in final rounds, and especially, he has had a penchant to fold, to crumble a little bit, and it's not the makes, it's the misses, and make a miss. And so I think that match play helped him out a little bit with that. He could have beaten Kim here. Yeah, he's had some of this stuff in him. How did Mike Weir win the Masters? Mike Weir had to get in all those ridiculous final rounds with Tiger Woods to learn how to win. So my long shot, how many guys have Tiger Woods as their long shot? But the long shot is if he gets in. See, that's my long shot.
Right.
And the longer shot is Bryson DeChambeau, not because he's a longer shot, just because he has the longest shot off the tee. That's it. And Bryson DeChambeau could win the Masters. You know why? Go back to last year, go back to 19, and he failed miserably at Augusta. But he found ways to carve it back. All of those failures, I hope he's learning something because, yes, Kenny, a long ball hitter can win at Augusta. Bubba's shown it. You know, Tiger is a long ball hitter. They can win. It depends on the weather. But DeChambeau, if you're going to win at Augusta, you have to be able to putt, and it's still and wedge. And those two clubs are still a little iffy for the guy. So anyway, my pick is I think Jordan Spieth's going to win the Masters. I really do.
Yeah, when you talk about the long ball hitters, and part of the problem is Bryson DeChambeau is not coming in with a wedge. And when you hit those greens with a 5-iron from 250 yards away, you're still not likely to stick on a lot of those par 5s that he'll be able to do that with. If you're coming in with a sand wedge, you have to watch your spin. You really got to have dead hands, and that comes from somebody who's a master with the wedges.
Ken Shaw, master
Victor,
with the wedges.
Yeah, Victor, could you throw my picks back up on the screen, and I'll show them why I'm going to have the winning score once again here. JT, I love Justin Thomas. I love the fact that he's got wings on his on the bag, and he's got all the experience from Phil Mickelson years. Victor Hovland, I love this kid. I love his attitude. He's got $1 million smile for the TV cameras, and Rod, you would appreciate his home country broadcasters. Every time he does something great, these guys take an ambulance to a hospital. They get so excited over Victor. Patrick Cantlay, you remember at the end of last season, Cantlay, he's got ice going through the veins, and that's what you need as well. You remember one of the first times that Rory was playing at the Masters, and he fell apart. And I think he was on the Roddy, is it the 12th hole, the par 5?
13.
Coming around Amen Corner. 13, and he 13. Went in the creek on the left, and that was it for him. It may be his year, but I didn't happen to pick him. Corey Connors, the pick from the heart. And Thomas Peters, I just love this guy. He's like my height, and he hits the ball 1,000 miles, and he's a very, very long shot. But once again, I expect that I am going to oust you guys, and I am going to have a side bet with both of you that Tiger will not be in the main field.
All right. Okay, we'll take your car for that. So guys, I like your pick, Justin Thomas. We've had a lot of first-time winners of the Masters, obviously, over the last couple of years, and not a good idea as a defending champion. Do you know the last time a champion defended Augusta? You said his name, Tiger.
Tiger Woods. No,
yeah,
Matsuyama would be the first in 20 years.
Yeah, and they did bring the par 3 thing back this week or next week when they play at Augusta. So that will be interesting. I think they also get a full week of preparation at Augusta, which is interesting. 2019 is a bit of an outlier when Dustin Johnson won because, again, the weather is completely different. It's fall golf. Last year was, I think, an outlier because of the rain delays and all of that. If it's perfect, we might see a master, when I say a master, win the Masters. Just saying. And Justin Thomas, in my mind, is a master.
And I probably should have put Corey Connors on the board. I didn't, and because I just want to say, like yesterday in the semifinals.
That's why they banished you to Mexico.
That aggressive shot.
You never come back to Canada. If you don't put Corey Connors' name on, forget it. Hey, we'll take your COVID test. It's coming up positive every time. You're done. You're never coming back.
I gotta go Wednesday. We'll see what happens.
Canadian sports show. Just saying. You're done. Good night, man. You're not. What kind of
wise words
are you?
What wise words from the Uber driver?
Right. And by the way, remember, so you're talking about two of the greatest ball strikers, Rod, Corey and DJ. All right, playing head to head, and who wins that match? Corey does. That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was
that third place match.
Yeah. I think it's going to be. I honestly, guys, it's the first rite of spring. I'm looking at snow still on the grass here. There's nothing for Canadians like the Masters. I think for everybody, you don't even have to be in Augusta. You can. It's like smell-o-vision. You can smell it. You can feel it. You get the cheesy piano music. You get it all, and you're captivated. And the beauty is, we can watch all day long now. I love that. Remember the days where at 4:00 you had to wait Eastern time? Oh my gosh. And you were just kind of before going on the internet. Oh, here's the scores. Now you can watch all day long. There's nothing in my mind. It's the greatest sports event of the year. And it just gets us so excited for the golf season. And
the tickling of the ivories and the shot coming down Magnolia Lane and Jim Nantz in his very calm / whispering voice saying, "Hello, friends. Welcome back." Friends. Yeah. Nothing like it.
One for the ages. Jordan Spieth.
Before I let you go, I just wanted to get your comments on that soccer game on the weekend in Canada qualifying for the World Cup. Where were you at, and what did you think of that?
Well, Joe, hey, for an ex-Canadian like yourself, you must have been very proud. Because were you cheering for Jamaica, Joe? Hey, anyway.
I was cheering for Mexico, but they weren't playing.
Honestly, I've been in the business for a long time, and I remember back in the 80s as a young broadcaster, it was such a cool thing that Canada got to its first World Cup. I don't think we scored a goal during it. That won't happen this time in Qatar. It was phenomenal. At BMO Field, wasn't it perfect? It was a perfect metaphor. Snow falling, cold, 4-0 win over Jamaica, and all of these players and the fans. And are we a soccer nation like we're a hockey nation? No. But guess what? We're getting there. And by getting to the World Cup, by the way, the women paved the way long ago. They showed what we could do. Oh, Canada. It was Kenny, you were probably in Florida. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it, but it was absolutely spectacular. One of the sports highlights. Now, hey guys, celebrate, go to work. See you in Qatar.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see the broadcast, Rod. I did read about it, and I thought, So there's snow all around there. It's freezing cold temperatures. Good luck, Jamaica. That I remember thinking that to myself as I was looking at the setup of it. But and you know what? I know diddly squat about soccer, except for the fact that John Herdman, who is the coach, has assembled a great team of Canadians there, and I'm just going to sit back and listen to your comments. But what occurs to me is that maybe we're not the soccer nation yet, Rod, but we are starting to build things at the grassroots, or let me put it another way. Those seeds were sown some time ago at the grassroots, and now they're starting to come to fruition, right? There's the base that is developing across the country, and now we're seeing that pay off.
Yeah, and totally agree. And to have our best player not playing, think about that, watching.
Alfonso,
and one of the best players in the world, how did he get inspired when we haven't had a Canadian men's team qualify for a World Cup? But he's phenomenal. And you think about all of these. I thought about Dwayne De Rosario, who is now a big fan and was a great legendary soccer star. John Herdman, by the way, you're absolutely correct. Think about where he was before. He helped lead the Canadian women's team that eventually got to an Olympic level where they actually won a gold medal, which is crazy to think that would have ever happened a few years ago. But guys, and again, this is nothing against any other sport. No sport is played more in Canada or around the world, full stop, than soccer. No sport is played more than soccer. Everybody has played, boys and girls. And you're right, Ken, the base suddenly gets inspired. And I cannot think about a young kid who watched that the other day or will watch the World Cup and someday, 8 to 10 years from now, could be on a national team or playing professional soccer. By the way, having TFC and Vancouver Whitecaps and Montreal and all of these professional leagues, that also helps. Still not hockey in our hearts or our minds because it's not on the air all the time. But I'll tell you what, it's creeping up. It's like what basketball has done. All of those great young players that were now in the NBA, they had to be inspired. Where'd they get the inspiration? Raptors, television, Vince Carter, Steve Nash. Same thing for soccer players. Young boys, young girls who get a chance now. To me, it's absolutely inspiring. It's how our sports culture develops and grows. And man, it feels good. And when it happens like that, to be a Canadian and to see that great summit that they reach, and there's more to come.
Who's the Christine Sinclair of this team?
Well, Alfonso Davies, for sure.
Well,
he's not playing.
Alfonso Davies would be, but he's injured. Hopefully he's back by the time they go to the World Cup.
Kenny, he is the Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, Wayne Gretzky of Canadian soccer. That's who he is. He is
he's top three player in the world. He's a top 3 player in the world, period. He's that good. And, Canada is becoming a soccer nation, whether we like that or not.
Does he play for France now? Who's
no,
he
he's for? I believe he's in Germany, but he's injured because he had COVID. He had a heart condition result of COVID. So he's we're hoping that he can get back on the pitch for Qatar, Qatar.
He plays for Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich, yeah.
But he's incredible. Well, again, we've been watching him since he's been a baby develop into this player, and he's we have had great Canadian players, but honestly, years past had been born elsewhere, granted Canadian citizenship, yada, yada. We've had that stuff. Full-blown Canadian kid grows up and becomes a superstar, absolute superstar. And when you think about it, was Canada's athlete of the year last year with Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. Should probably be Canada's male athlete of the year every year because he's that good. He's that good.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Born and raised in Edmonton.
I know diddly squat about soccer, but I know that I will get on that bandwagon And you guys know, in particular in Toronto, Danforth Avenue, during World Cup times, going to be great this year to have a Canadian entry in there and see all the cars running around town with the Canadian flags. And we know that it's related this time not to a Freedom Convoy, but to the World Cup action.
Yeah,
and
it'll be a beautiful thing.
Jonathan David's a good one too. Like Jonathan David's only 22. He plays overseas as well. There's so many good young players, and they are. Kenny, you're right. It'd be nice to see that, and the flags flying at World Cup. Like every time the World Cup is on, how many times you drive down the 401 or the 404, and you see that Greece flag. You see, Ukraine was in it a few years ago. You can see the Ukrainian flag. You obviously see Ireland and Britain and Italy, obviously, and Brazil. Whenever they get, how cool is it? They're going to be actually waving the maple leaf at the World Cup. It's been a long time coming.
Canada's in, and I believe Italy's not in. How does that?
Which is absolutely unbelievable when you think about it.
Times are changing. Oh, by the way, we're going to have just a moment. I'm going to be interviewing Jim Lawson from Woodbine Entertainment Group about the potential Canadian Soccer Training Center that they're proposing up around Woodbine if the politicians can get on board, which would be fantastic. Guys, I want to thank you for being on the program. Very insightful, very fun as always. And as guests on Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show, we got some fine Italian clothing for you from Classic Imports.
When's that coming, by the way?
Hook you up.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Hey, buddy, I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you an email. You're gonna give Jeff a call. And he's gonna
right. Look at how's your new life going to be down in Mexico there when you can never come back to Canada because you didn't vote for Corey Connors? Good luck on that one, Joe. Next show you'll be giving away Mexican clothing. Just saying.
Here we go. Because MKS Beach and Activewear right here in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico.
Let's golf soon, boys.
Listen, thanks, guys. All right, and by the way, winner of the pool, whoever gets the picks closer to correct, will buy lunch and take us golfing. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay, nice to see you both.
See you guys.
Oh, okay. Cheers. More sports after this. Thanks, guys. Take care.
More Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show coming up after the break. Guests on Joe Tilley Sports receive a gift certificate from Classica Imports. Top of the line imported men's clothing. Check out the Classica Essential Collection now. Go to shopclassica.com.
Hey, this is Tommy Graisley, aka Tommy Gunn. I love two things, music and sports. And when I want sports, I go to the Joe Tilley Show. He gives me everything I want. It's a great show. Check it out for yourself. Joe Tilley Sports, coming up.
Good night. When I'm working out, I like to wear my Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show t-shirt. It makes me feel handsome and strong. If you want a t-shirt, support the show, click on the link below. Now, back to my workout. 1,761, 1,762, 1,763, 1,764. Addiction Rehab Toronto, Toronto's #1 alcohol and drug treatment center, saving lives, reuniting families. The only treatment center in the province to offer medical detox, treatment, sober living, and lifetime aftercare all in one place. Our unique and specialized programs are designed to equip our clients with the tools to successfully lead a life of dignity, respect, and purpose. Let us help save your life or your loved one's life. Call today for more information or to facilitate an intervention. 1-855-787-2424 or visit addictionrehabtoronto.ca. Joe Tilley Sports is brought to you by COSA, Central Ontario Standardbred Association, providing a united voice for harness horse people racing at Ontario tracks. Check out your benefits today at COSAOnline.com and check out COSA TV on Facebook and YouTube for all the latest harness news and live action updates. Live racing year-round. Go to HPIBet.com for all your wagering options. Become a member today, and your first bet is free. That's HPIBet.com. Slow play. It's a slippery slope. First you go looking for that lost ball, and then everything goes sideways. There are a lot of golfers on the course. Make certain of your point of entry, look quickly, and move on. Remember, we're here for a good time, not a long time. Find anything, Bob?
Not yet.
Visit moregolf.ca. You'll find everything a golfer could need, from balls, gloves, and clubs, to custom fitting opportunities, training gear, and more. When you go to moregolf.ca to log in and make your final purchase, don't forget to enter promo code JTSports to get $20 off. Go to moregolf.ca today.
And now we welcome to the program Jim Lawson, the CEO of Woodbine Entertainment Group. Jim, it's good to have you on the show again. It's always good to have you here. We're going to talk some soccer first off the bat, out of the gate. First of all, I just want to talk about your thoughts on the great job by the Canadian men's team. We're going to the World Cup for the first time since 1986.
I mean, it's wonderful. It's just been the momentum around soccer in this country. First of all, with what the women's team did in the Olympics, and now with the men qualifying for the first World Cup, and since 1986 in Mexico, and I think 1986 was the only time they qualified. But what's really interesting about it for me, Joe, is just the amount of interest in this men's team across the country. It has really generated some excitement, and it's great to see. But boy, oh boy, you hear about all the people involved in soccer in this country, but when you see an event like this and the attention that it's attracted, you know it's for real. It's a big thing in this country, and it's going to get bigger.
No question. It's like a Stanley Cup playoff game. Those are the kind of numbers they're putting up for Canada right now, which is phenomenal. You know, and now this is definitely relevant for you, Jim, because Woodbine is proposing potential construction of a 38,000 square foot soccer training facility and an 8,000 seat soccer specific stadium at the track. Now, tell us about this project. Is it a go, and what kind of hurdles do we need to clear here?
Yeah, good question. I mean, we've been talking to the Canadian Premier League. We've been talking to various soccer interests, community interests, Humber College. We've had this concept on the table for quite some time, and the reason, quite frankly, Joe, is exactly what I just said, that Canada, the fastest growing sport in Canada is soccer. This year, there has been so much excitement generated because of the accomplishment of the women's team at the Olympic, and now the men's team qualifying for Qatar. I mean, it's just off the charts, as is the involvement of the grassroots level. For this to continue, and we can say this about so many sports, that Canada has not really dug in my view, and put the infrastructure and facilities place. I think it's fair to say that, even though we have a great swimming program and we've done well in the Olympics, we don't have the infrastructure in swimming in Canada. We probably don't have the infrastructure in basketball in Canada that we've done. And soccer is another example. There's not a national center of excellence, a national training center. We've got to correct this. We as a country, we love our sports, and we love our soccer. We love our swimming. We love our Olympics. You know what it's like when it comes to the Olympics in this country. But one thing we don't do is we don't build the infrastructure. So this is an opportunity. Woodbine's sitting on 700 acres. We're a community-minded company. This is an opportunity to build the infrastructure and make sure that the success we're seeing and experiencing today at the elite level, the way to build that for the future is to build the infrastructure. So we've been working with soccer interests. We believe we have the backing. It's going to take some time to pull together. We need to finish the infrastructure, which if you've been at Woodbine, there's a lot going on with the casino and the hotel and the entertainment center. This is part of the same block, so the plan of subdivision approvals are in place. The biggest hurdle we have, quite frankly, is that in order to build a stadium, you need mass transit. And we've been very clear with the City of Toronto and the province that in order for us to go ahead with this development, and now to go ahead with this soccer complex, which will bring national attention, international attention to Toronto, and will be a legacy potentially from the World Cup in 2026, and an important part of the World Cup for practice facilities and training, that we need to build the train station, and we need zoning around the train station for the investment by Woodbine, which is north of $140 million, unprecedented for a private company to invest $140 million in public transit. But we're prepared to do so. We're sitting on 700 acres. We know it's important for the future of horse racing, but it's important for the future of the property. And what would go hand in hand with that is if we can get mass transit, we're going to have a soccer stadium there and likely a national training center. And that would be the greatest legacy for the City of Toronto hosting the World Cup, to have a national training center and FIFA-style practice fields to accommodate the World Cup. So that's what this is all about, Joe.
All right, Mayor Tory, are you listening? All right, councillors, are you listening? This thing has to be done. All right. So, this is what Canada's been able to accomplish with what we've got. Just imagine where we could be, for soccer at all levels, if we could have a national training center like this, a nice centralized one in Toronto. To me, the sky's the limit here.
Absolutely.
So, the other thing I wanted to bring up is single game sports betting. It starts in Ontario. It starts in Canada next week. There's going to be some coordination. There was supposed to be some coordination with the racing industry, but apparently that's not happening. So update us on where we're at with the single game sports betting and how it's going to affect horse racing.
Yeah, well, I'll first say that coordination and integration is not happening yet. We're still working on it, and we're still extremely optimistic and hopeful. Just to step back, what happened over the course of last year was that with a lot of work and largely by Woodbine, horse racing and pari-mutuel wagering was pulled out of the sports betting legislation. We were successful in arguing with the federal government, or arguing or discussing with them that you can't let these major sports betting operators around the world come in and offer fixed odds wagering on horse racing, or it will put this industry, which is a very large industry, 25,000 people employed in Ontario alone, out of business. And to their credit, the federal government listened. When they passed the sports betting legislation, they held back horse racing. Our hope and intention was that when they did that we would immediately be having partnership discussions with these large sports betting operators, so we could put our pari-mutuel product on our tote system on their platforms. And we have had many discussions and partnership discussions with these people, and negotiated partnership discussions with a major player. And we thought we were proceeding fine. The management and control of this has been passed down to the province, and now we have to convince the province that we can integrate our product onto their platform, the sports betting platforms, which in my view, Joe, having been there and sat with the Justice Committee, was always the intention that if these sports betting operators were going to come into Canada, many whom you'll appreciate, Bet365, FanDuel, PointsBet,
MGM,
Tabcorp, William Hill, they all have sports betting backgrounds, horse racing backgrounds.
Oh, I see. Right. Of course. Yes. No, I threw an MGM there only because I've bet on horse racing at the sports book there. That's a little different.
Yeah. Well,
so
my point really, Joe, was going to be, we knew that they all wanted to offer horse racing as part of their product, because most of those companies I just named, their background was in horse racing.
Right. So now, so if potentially, if what we're seeing happening happens, and there's no negotiation between you and these companies, so all these American, UK companies can come in here and open up this single game sports betting operation and exclude horse racing and really cause to the detriment of horse racing. And
Yeah.
why would we allow that to happen? And why isn't the Ontario government moving in to stop it?
Well, I'm certainly hoping. We're having positive discussions with them. They haven't raised any major red flags, but I can tell you if these companies, and they are spending, I'll say on average, the major ones, and I'll say the major ones, number 6 or 8 of them are spending $75 million to $100 million marketing. We've got to find a way to get our product onto their platform, because it's going to, them coming into the market in such a big way is going to cannibalize our product. The sports wagering customers are a very similar demographic to the horse racing customers. And so if we don't have that access, we're really going to be hurt by this. And that was not the intention when the federal government passed this legislation. But I want to be optimistic. We're having good discussions. The AGCO has been very helpful, and we think we'll get there. I'm just disappointed that it isn't happening as of April 4th, but I'm hoping over April, May, and June, you'll be able to go onto the platforms of those major sports betting companies and bet the Woodbine product.
And if the betting your Woodbine product, is that an easy thing for you guys to put together? Is that a program that's really doable and quite easy to make happen?
Easily to integrate. It's done all over the world. We're working with one partner on the technology right now. One of the issues, of course, is the seamless wallet. So what the government wants from a regulatory standpoint is to know that it's on a tote system and to know that it's separate and traceable. And we can accomplish that. That's what goes on elsewhere in the world. So we're very comfortable. We have the technology, working with our potential partners, that this can be done, and we're walking the government through that right now.
Well, I can see, Jim, is good luck, and let's hope that sanity prevails, because we got an opportunity for the government to step up here, local government, for the transit situation, for the soccer facility, and of course the provincial government needs to step up here and make sure that some mega corporation from outside the country is going to come in here and basically, ring the death knell for horse racing, because we don't want to see that happening. And we have a long, rich tradition of horse racing. You guys done a fantastic job. Best of luck as this all unfolds, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that sanity prevails. Thank you, Jim.
Great. Thanks for having me on again, Joe, and giving me the opportunity. And we'll talk again.
All right. Thanks, man. More sports after this.
Well, this is the ultimate barbershop here tonight. I'm surprised Bob Getters isn't over there giving the haircut. Former Timberwolves director of security. He's got his barbershop skills as well.
I mean, that guy was like all the rage. Just
oh, I love that play of the week. Okay, my closest Swiss pick of the week. Last week I went to Mohawk for Thursday night's 10th, the $25,000 final of the pop-up series. I picked Just Marvelous with James McDonald driving, looking marvelous heading into the stretch, but couldn't find room. The best horse proved to be Thundering Jim with Doug McNair in the buggy. $8.80 to win the 7-1 exacta. Returned $35.10 this week. I'm going to go to Western Fair Raceway for Tuesday night's second race. How can I not go with the one-horse Hobie Joe, 8-1 in the program, Tyler Borth in the buggy, and I'm going to take the 145 exacta box. I also like Just Marvelous, the 4-horse in the 8th, who's coming back to race at Western Fair. For all the racing updates, visit COSA TV on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Go to hpibet.com for your wagering options. Yeah. Time now for the Rycom Wrap. Sports news that's close to home. And yes, of course, they'd like to beat the Habs every time out. Who wouldn't? Every single time. And this is a long-time rival, a team that knocked them out of the playoffs last spring. So the two, well, they went at it. At least pepper Jake Allen with 51 shots, but the Habs escaped with a 4-2 win. Here's good news, maybe. Perhaps it would be better for the Buds if they slip into a wild card spot. That way they would face Carolina or Florida in the first round instead of Tampa or Boston. Just a thought. Now, the Bucks buried those same Panthers the very next night, and they clipped the Canes last week, so maybe fourth might be their best bet. It's beginning to look like the Raptors won't have to worry about a play-in game. Okay, a couple of big wins this week vaulted the Dinos into sixth spot in the East. They're only 4 games out of third. Weird night at Scotiabank Arena as the speaker caught fire and the crowd had to leave. The Raps would complete a 40-point win over the Pacers. Fred VanVleet is going to get some load management opportunities here. Hope that right knee is good come playoff time. Lots of balance on this team. Could be very scary when it matters. That overtime win over the Celtics, by the way, that was huge. Put the Raps in a tie for fifth, just 3.5 games out of second. Spicy P with 40 points. The guy's getting hotter as the postseason approaches. This was pretty cool. During the game, the Raps honored the Canadian men's soccer team, who are still celebrating that World Cup clinching victory. It's great to see the boys, 24 of them out on center court, being honored by the Rat Pack for that victory. Well, the Jays were all packed up tight with right-handed hitting outfielders, so they decided to make him move, sending Randall Grichuk to the Rockies for outfielder Raimel Tapia and infield prospect Adriano Pinto. Now, Tapia is the main piece here. He hits left with a .282 average over the past 2 seasons. He's been known to sparkle in the outfield, makes only $3.95 million, is arbitration eligible and controlled through the 2023 season. Love his defense.
I've been here my whole career. Getting to know my teammates. I appreciate, the teammates here that I've gotten to know over the years. I'd like to thank, Colorado for giving me the opportunity to start my career here. And now it's just time to, you move on and hopefully, go out there and be a Blue Jay and do my best. Be the same guy, steal bases, go out there and contribute the way I contribute here. Nothing changes for me. Try to compete and provide a lot of energy and continue to do the same things. I feel great, going to a team like that. They're really good. I feel like I can go out there and help them win, hopefully make the playoffs and win the championship. That's what ultimately my goal is. First of all,
Jays pitching coach Pete Walker was arrested and charged with a DUI. He will plead not guilty. An historic night for the Toronto Rock at First Ontario Centre. Dan Dawson was honored for setting a new NLL record for playing in his 307th NLL game. Dawson also had an assist to tie the league record. He tied the great John Tavares, the other John Tavares, for the all-time mark with 938. Unfortunately, the Georgia Swarm pooped the party. Brendan Bombury scored 3 times in the first half. The Swarm win at 10-6. The Rock are now 8-5. The two clubs meet in the return match Friday night in Georgia. The Rock are home to San Diego the following night, Saturday night. Congratulations to some local, talented young fighters. Beware the Chechen Wolf. Toronto's Barter Bierslanov improved to 10-0 as a pro with his 8th knockout, stopping Roberto Vertugo of Mexico in the 4th round of a pro fight card in Trois Rivières. We thank Wave Productions for the video. On the same card, 4-time national champ Spencer Wilcox of Hamilton stopped Armando Osuna of Mexico in Wilcox's pro debut. The Canadian rocked his opponent on a number of occasions, dropped him with the left, stopped him with a body shot. This was a nice way to start your pro career, Spence.
Going into the fight, we knew he was a dangerous fighter. We knew he was patient, and we wanted to see what he had. And then once I figured out what he brought to the table, with all due respect, I personally viewed that I was a little bit more advanced in the ring than he was, with all due respect. And we thought, you know what, it's time to push the pace. We liked the way he reacted to the body shots, and we started setting up the body shots, and that's what won us the fight.
All right, one night later, Joshua Hellraiser Fraser improved to 2-0 with the first-round knockout over Luis Granados Gonzalez at a car at the Casino Montreal. Fraser used his reach advantage to set up the big one. Furious pop to make sure that this fight would end early in the first round. All right, let's hear once again for Corey Connors, a pride of Listowel, Ontario. Bouncing Dustin Johnson grabbed third place at the Dell Match Play Championship. Looking good, heading to Augusta. So here's our shot of the week. Chase for number 6 at El Tigre.
God damn it.
4! Chase Anderson on the tee. That's a good-looking ball. High ball flight. Oh, he stuck it tight. He stuck it tight.
Today's environmental tip: keep your drinks in reusable containers. Instead of buying individually packaged drinks, consider buying a bulk container for your favorite beverage. And buy a reusable bottle. Not only will this help the environment, but it will also help you save money.
Rycom, passionate people who turn complicated business problems into simplified technology solutions. For public and private sector real estate, properties, portfolios, and enterprise customers. Optimize and future-proof smart buildings from the ground up. Smart tech solutions, the latest in fault locating, base building network design, managed services, cybersecurity, data analytics. Our fault detection will support all smart strategies, define projected outcomes for capital planning, and reduce environmental impact. Rycom, smart protection solutions. At Rycom, we're building a path to a smart and environmentally friendly future and a carbon-free economy.
And we want to thank all the folks who make this show possible. These are friends, trusted business associates, and all-around great folks. We highly recommend them all. A reminder, the show is also available on iTunes, Spotify, Breaker, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, and Pocket Casts, as well as the Spanglish Network and Zingo TV. Also, please like and subscribe to the show on YouTube. It's free. All of our past great shows and clips are on there, so check that out on YouTube. Thanks once again to Rod Black and Ken Shaw for joining us on the show, as well as Jim Lawson. Thank you for watching us. Join us next week when Joe Siddle drops by for some Jays talk. We'll see you then. Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show is brought to you by
Brian Gribben Insurance Planning, helping you solidify your financial future.
At BGIP, what we do that's unique in the marketplace is we show people how to spend and enjoy their money in their early years of retirement without the fear of running out. Also, we're able to do this without you having to change financial advisors. Please look us up at bgip.ca today, and let's book a 30-minute phone call to see how we can bring value to you and your family in your planning.
Call Brian today for all your retirement needs. We did. 905-686-5678.
Do you want to buy or sell a home? Could 31 years of real estate experience help you? Why not speak to an amazing team that loves to overpromise and overdeliver? Aldo has a tremendous team of experts on staff. They are committed to making your next real estate transaction smooth and comfortable. Call 416-GET-ALDO or visit getaldo.com.
Brought to you by MNP, a leading Canadian national accounting, tax, and business consulting firm. MNP proudly serves and responds to the needs of our clients in the private, public, and non-for-profit sectors. Through partner-led engagements, MNP provides a collaborative, cost-effective approach to doing business and personalized strategies to help people and organizations succeed across the country and around the world. With local offices in Oshawa, Toronto, Mississauga, Burlington, and more, our team is here to support you. Visit mnp.ca to learn more.